Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Islands of Insight. So I clicked the I'm stuck button at the end of the last way too long episode and it teleported me back to the pearl that I clicked most recently, which would be here. Which is fine, it just means now I need to fly to this ancient court enclave. I did some enclave that I guess was way over here, and then I ended up flying this way thinking that was a new location, and it wasn't. So inherently the goal here is to reach the enclaves and do the enclaves first, like to the point where the world in the center here definitely feels like it should be fairly empty. I don't know if you can go 100% empty in this case, but it does feel like you should have a whole experience where you are walking through these areas, just admiring the Unreal Engine assets that have been built here. I don't think I would claim that any of this really has been flipped from a store. It looks like all the assets, if they were pre-purchased assets, have been used appropriately to better the development. What I would argue though is maybe, just maybe, there was a mistake in using the Unreal Engine at all. Now normally, other than perhaps loyalty to open source, I wouldn't dare to argue that one engine or Unity over Unreal are much different. But in this case, it has to be mentioned that the Unreal Engine is totally designed for 3D first-person shooter games. And this is a puzzle game. So, had they made it in Unity, I feel like you wouldn't have had more of the push to make this an MMO, which is still very weird. And you probably would have had just more portability as far as getting these getting this game to work on other consoles and mobile games. Oops. Yeah, don't even want to do that. Now if I was just gonna promote my personal pick, I'd say making this in the Godot engine would probably help open source development more. But no, I would say Unity would have been the right engine to use when this game started development. And it does just seem really, really weird that this is an Unreal Engine game. In contrast, I don't know for certain what engine The Witness was made in, but I would suspect it wasn't Unreal Engine. Even if it was, I'd say The Witness is just a much tighter experience as far as what you can do in the world. You don't have running and platforming. It is weird that I'm complaining about extra content though, also. But it is kind of a thing where I definitely would kind of want to see the running go away. And perhaps that's a better way that this world could have been, is that in this central area, before you do any of the enclaves, maybe there should just be some platforming and run sections that are unlocked only. and that way you know exactly. Yeah, you would see a run section, it would run you to another area, maybe do another run section, and it would eventually just get you to the Pearl, which would then start you down the path of going to the enclaves, and then doing one enclave would unlock all of, in this case, it unlocked all of the rolling block puzzles. But match 3 tiles, I think, were unlocked for the entire game here, when perhaps it would have made more sense if there was yet another enclave to do even more advanced match 3 titles here, and or just even more match 3 tiles. I'm still on this same old daily quest too. There's just a massive amount of skydrop puzzles here, and yet none of them are aligning. Yep. And I suspect doing the daily quest here will just end up having me do more daily quests later. I suspect a lot of these blocks here, these match blocks, are from kind of a central location inward. That's the wrong shape. Let's go ahead and get this since we're here. But we certainly are just wasting time. I think that's part of the issue that you also run into here, is that this is a game designed around wasting your time or getting distracted. It's a very ADHD style of puzzles. There's not a lot of spend 20 minutes on a single puzzle. Okay, Obli the First, I open my eyes to a broken god, a terrifying beauty of such immensity that her hand forms the ground beneath me. What kind of insignificant speck am I to cross into her world and find myself asleep on the tip of her finger? Yet her gaze is inscrutable. Am I as much a wonder to her as she is to me? Yeah. And if there was some kind of deeper word puzzle to the dialogue, I'm not seeing any evidence of it. That would be an intriguing twist, I suppose, if it did turn out that you had to comb through the lore and figure out that there's some kind of code or secret that is being said once you collect all the lore. A lot of times when you do have these puzzle games, there is kind of a high level of hype and enthusiasm around them. This one, weirdly, not so much. And so if there was some kind of deep puzzle here, I didn't hear anybody mention anything about it. And I wonder if that is in part also because of the fact that it's an MMO, once again, that the MMO element drags it downward. So these are just matchbox puzzles. That was not what I was expecting at all. So that's probably not going to play much towards much of anything. The goals here are to solve 5 matchboxes. And I think mostly that's just going to be standing in the right spot. And then 3 hidden archways and 4 hidden rings. It very possibly was just inevitable that these enclaves were going to get... There's one hidden ring, just walking around. Yeah, it's very believable that the enclaves were going to get a little shorter. And in this case in particular, if I can quit hitting the wrong button, does make a lot of sense. You would need a smaller area, so you could just play around with limiting how you can see things. Let's see. We're looking to get 400 for this bonus, and then this bonus. And then the next time we'll actually unlock something here would be this. We've only seen one memory challenge, so it wouldn't be the worst idea to get bonuses from memory challenges. Memory challenges in particular are going to be the more difficult thing. It does seem to me like we are probably approaching a point where the end of the whole game might be a little bit faster. So now we have a bonus to solve all 10 matchboxes. It's kind of easy because it's always red to green. You would significantly increase the difficulty had you made it so that it was red to red always. Which symbol is this? This is the spider symbol. Effectively, you can just stand. Now, standing on the boxes does not guarantee that you would be able to see the other box. That's a mistaken logic. Where you need to stand needs to be in a middle point between the 2 boxes, which means you need to know where the boxes are. Hidden rings. We also know that there are scenic route things. inherently, if you see something next to a window, you can pretty well assume a lot from that the line of sight is going to go through that window. Here we have a statue falling over, but either perfect condition or totally destroyed. The statues seem to mean nothing. Okay. Got a red here. And a green here. See, it's just worth it at the moment to kind of wander around looking for the hidden ring, because we won't get any more guidance until we find that. Once we do find the hidden ring, there we go. Now the bonuses are find one more hidden archway, find 2 more matchboxes, which I guess is 4 more matchboxes, and 5 more hidden rings, and all 5 of the sightseers. And weirdly, even that guidance is not quite good enough, because it's not giving us an exact count yet. This is actually going to be fairly easy to do. It's just going to be a matter of getting the angle right and then standing in the right spot. Which is up here. Prominent landmarks in sight. Now I would argue though that these are actually a little too easy as far as probably doing something like this. Probably should just line up the rocks. That would be easier. Get the angle perfect on the rocks, and then the other things will line up. I'm looking at the background when really I should be looking right at that bottom foreground. Okay, so the rocks are now lined up somewhat, but the angle is all wrong. So perhaps have to be further back. New insight called parallax. This one is still 1 to do. This one's still 1 to do also. So what we're looking for is greens. we're assuming it's not a case that this connects far in the distance on the mainland, but it's possible that it absolutely does do that. Nope. Okay. Now this is weird. I don't know where this would line up. We're looking for something that curves around, so it's gotta be, I guess, up here. Yeah, that's it. And so finding the solution to this one, actually, I think you have to do it this way. I think you have to enlarge. I don't think there's a way you can solve these faster. It would be interesting, certainly, if there was some kind of speedrun strat where you can just kind of look in a general direction without bringing up the overlay. I think what's also kind of weird about this, though, is the fact that you can't just click. It doesn't just snap in. So inevitably it feels like you're going to end up just clicking quite a bit. What would get irritating here also is if you started to have just too many of those in a row, that would be a little irritating, or if these always lined up in such a way. We could do this. But we can't click on that. Nope. You're just locked in. So you definitely are coming back this way. We kind of already found that one. I had heard it and simply ignored it on the path to doing the others. It definitely does feel like, had this been a twice as big area, this would have been way more frustrating. Because the angles are really tight. And I imagine a lot of this is programming issues. That being said, I am actually a little shocked that the Unreal Engine is malleable enough that this works at all. I suppose it only makes sense to click on this. What nature of being are you? You are but a grain of sand, yet your essence burns on my finger. Have you come to any harm? Waking in the hands of the goddess is not such a bad thing. Of a goddess is not such a bad. Are you the shaper of the realms? I am no god. I am a shaper of sorts, but who is the shaper of realms? False memory, perhaps. So Obli the First talking to the Oriole. Should keep an eye out for any other. There's a lot of room here for struggle, for secrets to be hidden. A lot of room to miss things simply because you're not focused in a specific direction. Looking for the solution to one puzzle very easily could blind you to the solutions of several other puzzles. Definitely feel like I could end up just walking right past things. We're looking for one more hidden ring and one more sightseer puzzle. Question becomes after that, are there any other puzzles in this realm, in this enclave, or is that? I think we had already found this one. Yep. The sightseer puzzle shouldn't be too hard to find. Every little tree, well, not the little trees, but the bigger trees, are another place where a ring might be hidden. Clearly, since we've seen them do that once, we'd be willing to do it a second time. The fact that this area is smaller, though, also pays kind of a homage to where you're more likely to fall off the edge again. Okay, there's the sightseer trial. Maybe there's a hidden ring on the other side of that? May not even matter. Yeah. You know, it's a little bit weird that I haven't tried to speed up the whole process of solving puzzles in this game, considering how the game promises 10,000 plus puzzles. That should have motivated me to play with a high level of efficiency that I simply am not engaging with. I'm being much more laid back than I would have thought I should be. In retrospect, it definitely makes sense that I should be moving with urgency. So I think it's down there. Okay, can't be that. Don't think it's that. Probably wrong. What's interesting is that the sightseer is showing me skydrop orbs, which you could easily assume the skydrop orbs are not there anymore in the MMO version of this, where multiple people and players would be playing at the same time. Unless there's something special about these sky drop orbs and that they never disappear. Which definitely sounds like a possibility. I think this has got to be it, yeah. And so perhaps the insight here will be that we can't do this unless we line up the skydrop orbs. Or the insight is nope, no insight at all. I was thinking maybe the insight would have been don't assume that the picture is 100% accurate. But no, there's the skydrop orbs. Okay. So we hear this, and I'm gonna see if I can use my ears. See if we can keep our eyes up and open. See if there is perhaps a secret little alcove. Probably wouldn't hurt to go through each of these archways. It's a nice example of how video games are not just gamified versions of real life, in that these hidden rings are totally not hidden, and you just have to get somewhat close to them and you'll start to see them shimmer. Or generally you don't even have to get close to them, you just have to be looking in the right direction. Of course, maybe it parodies real life a little bit more for anybody who has a problem of losing their keys and things, and that how it is incredibly easy to not see things. That being said, video game peripheral vision and human peripheral vision and wraparound visuals that human eyeballs can have is not easily simulated or possibly simulatable at all in a flat 2D image. If in real life there was a semi-opaque ring, sorry I'm yawning for no real good reason, but yeah, if in real life there was a shimmering ring somewhere like this, this would look so odd that it would catch people's attention. I half wonder if there's a ring in the middle here, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. So if it's not down there, then possibly up here would be your next guess. At least this will give you a higher angle. Just thinking maybe it's in between some of these openings and columns. Maybe it's even up there. Can I get up here and get on that ledge? Weirdly, no. That feels very strange considering how much you can get on other ledges. Could be that it's a fall down spot over there. It can't likely be very weird and unlikely if it was just in a very high spot, far, far above the location of any structures where you would need the long jump just to reach it. I'm not seeing anything there. We really haven't spent too much time up here. It wouldn't be particularly good placement, in my opinion, if it was just in the trees up in that area, but the trees in general are worth investigating as we're quickly running out of options. Nothing moves here. You don't get keys that unlock doors. This is interesting. You have a cutout here that lines up. If you do line it up. Although, in fairness, a lot of things would line up if I went out of my way to make them line up. It does just feel like you could have something that just falls downward into some kind of hole. There are quite a lot of trees here. We did find one in the water. And it almost certainly would be a sign of desperation if I'm just gonna start flying around the whole island, but I think that is my next thought. If I find this last ring, I'll have solved 30 puzzles. 30 does seem like the exact right amount to be in this enclave. Yep, and that's just 100% completion, so storyline wise, as far as what the experience they wanted you to have here, seems pretty obvious that this is probably the first place in which you're actively going to be encouraged to solve everything on an enclave. We do have enough here for an upgrade, so we'll take it. Power up that makes sky drops easier to see for 60 seconds. Seems to just randomly happen, so the sky drops just look easier. So I guess the thought here would be, in doing 100% of this enclave, maybe you then would have been encouraged to go back and do 100% of the other enclaves. Of course, there's going to be two types of puzzle players in this game. Ones that would have already done everything, which is mostly me, as far as what could have been done in the Verdant Glen, and those that just rush. I have also apparently gotten all of the hidden realm puzzles here. Hidden object puzzles in the area. which I didn't get all of them in the first area, but I do think you are designed to go back and do that. Okay. And even though I am one of the players that went through here, just to finish my thought, and solved all of these, I also feel like I'm being mistaken in doing that. It definitely feels to me like I would have been better off had I... See how these are glowing a little bit more? Now it goes away. Okay. Now 60 seconds of this chromatic sphere to find the next one, I guess. Hey, and that definitely is another color. And it definitely shows me it's supposed to be like way over here. And that one's purple. Hey. So do I have the bonus? Go through two of them at once. So, yeah. There was a bonus here. Skydrop combo. That's after level 21. So perhaps if we were getting close to 21, which we really aren't, we would do that. But no, I think the move here is probably to upgrade this, because I think we're about to do some more Crystal Labyrinth. Definitely is distracting though. To get Alright. No, I'm close. What am I missing? There's just so much in this overworld. Are you perhaps needing to see that line up? Yeah, it definitely feels like you just end up going everywhere and doing everything. See, I'm playing with mouse and keyboard, so these tiny little movements don't really make as much sense. Okay. So then the move is find something colorful as far as the bonus goes. Nope, I'm not seeing anything colorful, so maybe you don't always get that bonus. We are trying to work our way to this other enclave, but it would be nice if I could get 6 more sky drops and 1 more unparalleled ring and finally be done with the daily quest. The not so daily quest that I've had for many days and not actually accomplished. Guess there's a point here. Also, take notice that the number of orbs can change. If it was a strict, there's always 8 orbs. That'd be very informative. And seemingly there is no punishment or anything for including an extra orb if it happened to be in the line of sight. I just don't think that's actually going to happen very often. So the shimmering element I think may have been always available. The distinctive color element I think is new. All of this is getting me points, so I cannot complain about it. I do have concern. I'm just not going to find enough. It looks like there's a ton of sky drops around here, but it's going to be quite the angle. Still can't look upward. Okay, finally the luminous quest is complete as far as the emerald rings. That being said, it's kind of pointless to ignore puzzles if we see them. But the goal now is to fill in these sky drops, or thin out the sky drops, I guess is the right way to say that. I wonder, wow, that's a small number. Some of these definitely are disappearing. So in a funny way, the world is going to get less busy. And I just stumbled on that one. Can see some rings up there. Guess we'll fly backwards. Just landed on the ledge. And we'll do this grid puzzle just because of it. Connect all light cells. All dark regions have an area of 3. which means, well, I can put a black here. Then I'd have to encircle it that way. This can't be black. This can be black. There are no other limitations there. The issue now is that we have to connect all white sections. There's no way for that to happen. So then this has to be like that. Interesting. Okay. Did we get rings? It definitely feels like if these were procedurally generated, these probably are puzzles that would have been procedurally generated beforehand, not automatically. And if they're procedurally generated at all, they would have to have been created using some kind of technique that had the player stand in a specific spot and look in a specific direction. I don't think any of these are solvable by floating in the air or flying or gliding or anything like that. I think that would be a little too difficult. Don't make a pattern of all dark regions have 6. Ooh, this is potentially way more difficult. Okay. Can't make that. Can't make that. Can't make that. Can't make that. Okay. This would be too much. Really does just change a lot when you have this much going on. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that, yeah. But when they're specifically cut out like this, that also changes a lot. That, and then that. This would be 2, 4, 5. So we could connect there. But then if we were going to do that, then what do we do here? I think this really is your only option. And that didn't work. Unless that does that. And if it did do that, how do we break the pattern? Well, this gets that far. Okay. This one's locked in and this one's locked in. And then this one has to be black. That still doesn't help anything. So you're just making a whole black section over here. That could connect to that. Yeah, it definitely doesn't seem like there's a way to do this without this being black. Which means that has to be white. Which probably means that's black. Probably means that's black. 2, 4, 6. Gets you into that spot. And that's no way that's gonna work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it was gonna work, it would have to be doing something like that. And that's not gonna happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay. And then the next question, I guess, is can we break up this? One is good. There we go. That one a little bit more work than I would have wanted to do, since I'm just trying to run around here and do these sky drops. 2 more sky drops. Here's a great example of way more of them being used than I would have expected. I definitely think some of these sky drops are designed in such a way that you're just going to be looking straight up. Or almost straight up. There we go. So let's do this properly. I could just click the I'm stuck button, but there kind of is no reason to do that either. The whole point is to wander around and see what you can see. There's clearly a lot to see. And I think I'm fairly safe to go ahead and solve anything I can solve. I don't think I'm going to run into that many daily quests. And nothing is screaming to me that these would line up with anything. And I guess we'll give these a try. Okay, we're mostly in the right spot here. Looking at this, we want to make it bigger. And then stretch it out. Feel like I'm getting close, because I am. Like we get another daily quest though, and maybe that next daily quest would have involved solving those kinds of puzzles. Although I don't know why I would really have accepted that. Guess we probably will run into a situation where we won't have a choice. So we can claim 800, which is a decent amount. And then apparently in 18 hours and 10 minutes something else will unlock. Puzzle boxes, stones puzzles, crystal puzzle boxes or match boxes. So we could kind of go back and do the match boxes areas. 1 for floor slabs. I'm gonna take a risk here and take this quest. When we leave and come back, this is just checked off. With that amount of upgrades, the thought and the double thought here is just to do this. So solve the crystal puzzles quickly now. Also take a speed bonus on Sightseer. Nice. And then now we're looking for sparks. We should probably get a bonus on that. 1, 2. Like music grids we still haven't seen. Physics styles we still haven't seen. I don't think. Yeah, the logic definitely here is to get the fastest amount of sparks in the fastest amount of time, the most amount of sparks in the fastest amount of time. There's our monolith. Yeah. So they've kind of intentionally made this in such a way that you will avoid solving any puzzles if you are gliding. So there is movement mode, and then there is the solve a puzzle mode when you're on the ground. So it's been a while since we've had a puzzle pillar of insight. Letters must be sorted into types per area. So all A's must be in A's, all B's must be in B's. Okay. So let's see if we can solve this as fast as possible. So letters mean something very different. I do have a control button, by the way, I could be using. Let's see. But what I really would need here is not just a full paint bucket type tool. What I would need is something that would just fill in all the blank spots. I want to see what this is, so let's see if we can drop a marker there, because we've seen these on the map, then I've kind of ignored them, then we'll come back. No longer black and white. Okay. Sorted into one type of area. Does that mean it has to connect? Where did this reset? Like, all of these colors are locked. Interesting. Is that a bug on my screen? Yeah, I think there's actually a bug in my room on my monitor right here. I thought that was... It's actually following the mouse cursor as I move it around. So I thought that there was just like an insect on the screen in the game as just kind of a tiny little Easter egg. But no, it just flew off. It was in... Okay, so the only thing I could think here is gray, but nothing can be changed here. And nothing connects. So unless we unlock some ability, well, that works. There must be another trick to all this. And let's think about this for a second. Perhaps this is looking at it very differently. So perhaps it needs to touch a certain number of the same color. Which would mean if I make this white, then all of these would have to touch 4 white. They can't. So it has to be 2 black. But then this one can't touch 2 black without this one being white. See, and while that logic is true, it's not working. So let's see what Foresight says. Ah, okay. This is easier than it seemed. And the Foresight just goes away. There were just... I was seeing these as places where you can't place anything. But actually, that's pretty easy. I was just being dumb. Alright, well. Then we can do this fairly easily. Interesting. So, what we're doing here is, since B, C, and D are all different, you just isolate it all. Okay, A could go here, B could go here, then A can't reach here and B can't reach there. So let's just restart. Maybe we shouldn't restart though. So then, well, A could go here, and then how would A get around? That way. That blocks B completely if that's the case. Unless two groups of things are acceptable. Nope. That blocks in B. Okay. That one's there, that draws a line separating only that block, which is not a big deal. This has to be here. Do they have to be in their own separate groups, though? Let's see. That was a rough way to do it. So imagine what we're doing is curving around like this. We may have this all backwards. There almost certainly is some level of spirals. I think the hint probably to be taken is that it is all spiraled like this. Okay. If it's supposed to be all of that, though, It definitely seems like a lot is being wasted. It does feel like the game is just actively going out of its way to make this difficult. Oh, what a mess, what a mess. Something here should be establishing something. Like the right way this whole deal is supposed to play out. Okay. Let's just reset. Let's just start over again. What would have been the right place to start with a foresight? Look at this tile. So let's just ask a foresight question. That's right. Okay, so if we know all the A's are black, that starts us in a very good spot, because effectively we do know that that's probably that way. And then that is that way, and then that is likely that way. So this center spot here may just be a blocker. Okay. That is probably not the move. Nope. Okay. So that gets me 2 out of 3. Which is not bad. And we now see that the white tiles are the things that are going to be the blockers in the middle. So the question is, how can we get this B to be here? And it's pretty easy, you just do that. That gave me like 225. So those definitely seem like those are worth looking out for. are 2 sparks short of being able to afford that. Let's check the map. Did I solve that? Yes, I did. Okay. So, we now know that there are these towers of insights that are a little bit more than just a tower of insight. Well, this definitely seems like there would be a sky drop. Is it even worth doing the sky drops now, though? I don't think it is. It's not worth doing anything other than just moving into the enclave. These are logic grids. Okay. So if that's the case, let's just hit the I'm stuck button. Let's go over here and let's see. Solve 10 puzzle boxes. Sequential sentinel stones. So, I think that maybe counts as logic grids, puzzles. Not really a super fast way to reach this area, but whatever. I'm not really sure where this is going to send me either. Like, does seem like it might just teleport me into, that was not intentional. Does seem like it might just teleport me into a whole new area. We can talk to this character. Let's go ahead and grab this since I see it. And we did just get enough sparks to go ahead and unlock this. Again, just get as many bonus points. Growth thrives when challenged just beyond comfort's embrace. This is the trans-universal proverb. Which I guess the implication here is that we are thriving by being challenged by these puzzles. It definitely feels like there's a lot more high difficulty puzzles in this area, so I'm not really anticipating. Here's one that we can't even do yet. Yeah, I definitely am not anticipating that we are going to manage to solve every single thing in this area. I think that's going to be too much of an ask at this level of skill. Maybe later. There's one matchbox at least. Which way were we going? Got a little distracted. Inherently, the hidden rings and things are kind of worth grabbing as soon as you see them, just because of their lack of visibility. So this is just flinging me, I guess, really, really far in that direction. And here we have statues that feel a little bit cleaner. So, the philosophy of logic. Shattered Oasis. Boy, that is a far jump. I guess the idea here is that, yeah, I guess the general idea is that this would all lead to I lost my train of thought there. This could be more of a trick around just figuring out where to go first. This is going to have me going quiet, I think, a lot more, too. Looks like there's probably some hidden orbs around this area, from what I'm hearing. This is gonna be a mess. Okay. Guess the trick here is gonna be just to do that. Probably separate that. Then the G. I guess the G is fine if it touches the F. And this actually might not be that hard. It's just a matter of separating all the right things. Almost got that perfect. Okay, so we know from the sounds of it what we're supposed to do here, and this may not be that much. Where did it go? That's gonna be a tough one. It's more of a water element. I see an invisible cube. I hear an invisible cube, but I don't see it. So this might be. What you're supposed to do first, I wonder. Are you supposed to solve the puzzles? Or are you supposed to Okay. Didn't read the rules completely there. Don't make a pattern like that. Paints a more difficult picture. has to be white. Get anywhere. Okay, that probably solves that problem. We kind of don't even need to worry about that. Yeah. I felt like that was going to be more difficult than it really was. I'd make all the sense in the world just to do that, and that. But I can't do a 2x2 at all. And we can't do a 4x4 at all. Which means we pretty much, I think, have to have some kind of checkerboard pattern that is going to happen here. That's all the bees to some extent, but it would be so easy if you could simply leave some of them empty. Okay. So this is just zigzagging everything. And zigzagging everything again. This was an earlier, easier daily quest. Now, what I will say is it's not time efficient to go back and get another daily quest. Plus, I don't think you really need to do that. Also, very likely might be a case where doing this would have made more sense. Yeah, this certainly would have taught me, I think, quite a lot. This is going to be difficult. You basically have to do that. Either your options are here or here at this point. It kind of has to be up here. Kind of has to come over here. Right. Means that can be black. Probably has to be black. That. And that. And there was the mistake. B kind of has to come all the way over there. You know what, let's not even do that one. Let's just do that, and then I'll just hit control and fill that in really quickly. So how many sparks do we have? Nah, we're not getting that much. black there, black there. Connect all the black pieces, so that has to be black also. And my hint, thought there would be that has to go there. Okay, so will that work? Yes. It feels very weird though that you're buying the flood fill effect. That they aren't giving it to you through, or you're not earning it. Like, that is very strange. Okay, how is this D going to possibly match? It's basically gotta go there. 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 This very possibly is going to be an example too of where it makes a lot more sense that you would have, yeah, that's good enough. But then how do we get C to match? We don't need C to match, actually. Yeah, I definitely could see it being a case where the, do we have to connect all black pieces? No, we really don't. I don't know how we're gonna do that way. I definitely could see the creators of this game getting really, really good at these puzzles. Yeah, we have a whole line of them we're supposed to do, and solving them very fast. We have an unclued grid. In an unclued grid, there are not enough clues to uniquely determine the color of every tile. The grid can be filled in multiple ways, however none of these are the solution to the puzzle. Fill in only what can be deduced by all solutions. The other tiles must remain gray. Interesting. Are we even in the same area? Or, let's see, follow 2 wandering echoes is our main goal first. And yeah, I think we can figure out where this is going. This is very much a imagine you aren't going to get bonuses that make that easier either. This one's locked. We have to solve a previous one. Looks like it's very difficult. hidden cubes apparently are all over the place here, too. Okay. I think if we actually hold down the shift button, we can do that one. Okay. Let's see. Black, 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 black. Probably that. Probably that. And then C and A. We put A here. Put B here. It's just way too easy to mess up. Okay. Part of the problem here is that it's hiding like it's going somewhere else. Okay, can't make a certain pattern, which highlights, I guess, where the flood fill can't work, which is we can't do 4 in a row. So that has to be black, at least. That probably has to be black, at least. That has to be black, and that has to be black. That means this, neither one of these can be black either. Okay. Means I think you've got a pattern that has to be followed to do that. I feel like the difficulty has kind of fallen to the wayside on this. Don't make any squares. Okay. Well, let's start by separating what we know. That pretty much makes the C's. Okay. Could the A's? This one's locked. This one's locked, so that one's not gonna work. But we can do that. And for brevity's sake, I guess we can just do that. Let's see how that works. I guess I really don't even... I want to solve these puzzles more than I want to optimize them perfectly. So I think it is probably wiser to move fast. It really wouldn't be the worst situation in the world if it turned out I solved all the puzzles but didn't get 100% of all of the possible sparks. Particularly since I think we are going to end up having more than enough. When it comes down to the total number of sparks needed. Yep. This will actually end up working kind of nicely. But that's actually going to be black. Oh, C doesn't have to actually touch anything. I was trying to figure out how you possibly would solve that puzzle. I think we have all the D's. Yeah, I wish there was a little bit more to say around these kinds of puzzles, but kind of isn't. So we're just burning through these as quickly as possible. That's one difficult puzzle gone. It's actually a physical object, so they could get fairly mean and put invisible bricks right where you would think you should land. If I solved this 5-star one? Yes, I have. Sure, is it a little bit easier to tell in the sense that I wish they'd just kind of disappear. Okay, one more wandering echo. I think that's the move. Probably should start even over here. Okay, hold down shift to run. Jump, jump, jump. Don't run. Running's too much. Maybe you start running after the fact. Looks like there could have been a whole grid puzzle under this. Still haven't gotten that one either. And I guess I do need to just apologize for the shakiness of the whole mouse and keyboard situation here. Search out the environment. Okay, so this is a environmental puzzle. Alright. With a black grid in the top left. So this is probably designed to be fairly easy to solve because they aren't actively expecting you to have gone to the mystery area. You could have done that. Switch out the environment. Okay. Well, we're seeing different colored plants here. Could that be the case? Or is there something else? We're looking for 2 parallel rows of 5. And something that would indicate white or black. 1, 2, 3, 4. Definitely have a lot of columns here. These kind of puzzles either imply that the environment was created half broken and that it didn't break during time. I wonder if the game is getting maybe a little frame ratey. There's kind of a lot going on in this area, you have to admit. Again, perhaps the Unreal Engine not the best engine to use. I think the move probably is to fling yourself up there. And that. Because like inherently the Unreal Engine, where is it going? It is going there. Yeah, inherently the Unreal Engine is designed to make a nice looking game, yes, but one where you are not supposed to pay attention to the area, and one where the details are not supposed to be that in detail and that important, because if you're playing a first-person shooter, you really just are going to mostly find the thing you're going to shoot and then move on to the next area. Where did it go? Oh man. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Not literally, but it definitely feels like that. Just wait. There's no point in even starting that one. Got it. So we have now awakened logic grids with letters by accomplishing all the main goal. How much is left? Okay, I see 5 columns up here. 2, 4. I see not really 5 over here. I see 5 up here. There's 3 groups of this, which would say ignore that one because that one's broken. That's my guess. Okay. So I think I've got it. Then we start here and we draw just that symbol on that. Does that make sense? Probably need one here too. We're looking through the holes here, and if we see something dark, assuming that it's supposed to be depicted darkly. Over here, that they're making this somewhat simple. That one and that one, I believe. Yep. That's my guess. And I assume that there's just kind of an assumption here that you're going to be standing right about in this point where you look at things, because if I was looking at it from a far angle like this, that would be different. Okay. And if this is right, then it should have locked in. Okay. So what did I get wrong? That seems all correct. That seems all correct. That was the wrong one. So even though I do kind of see a column here, that was different. That one didn't count. So there's 3 more scatter logic, a lot more hidden cubes. Wonder. Okay. So we're gonna have to draw diagonal lines throughout this whole process. So then how can we get that up to that point? We can't even do that. Okay. So again, I guess it mostly is just something like that. But then you can't do anything here, so then that has to be there. We kind of have to zigzag, I think, our way up and down. And then one there. Let's see. That. Well, that was a little bit of a different experience. Just run around all the switches here and see how many hidden cubes are potentially hidden around here. I think a decent amount of them. You know what would kind of suck about this though? I have to think about that. Yeah, is that there is no way that you would have a speed run of this without the speedrunner wanting to skip all of it. You would have to actively encourage 100% playthroughs. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Well, we have to go this way. This part, which can't go there. Starting on this end would have probably been easier. So now's the trick. How do we connect these two B's together? What do we have more room that we can play with? We can play with this. And we could do that. Now we'll do that. The only difference here is we then need a bump. Which can be accomplished just doing that. No, it can't be accomplished just doing that. So if we were going to have a bump, could we have a bump over here? Or would we need a bump over here? And definitely you're going to run into some issues here because this is so incredibly tight that once you get to 7 locked up, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 7, you need a black there. Block that. Or you need a black here. And here to block it. Which does seem like that would make more sense. But I don't know how that would really work. Is there possibly another trick here? Like if you did that, could we connect the C's some other way? No. Pretty much establishes it that way. Can't really do anything here. Can't really do anything here. Could do that. Oh, I think that actually solves that fine. So then, last bit of this is to just have that there. Okay. I still feel like this game would be better suited if it had 3D audio that was just better designed. Perhaps it's intentional though. They wouldn't want you to just be a 3D location of audio solve where hidden cubes are. There's a lot of them. We did get the... And I guess it's kind of logical though, they're at the top of these columns. We did get the daily quest done. So we can turn that in. How much more do we have to do? We have one more scattered logic, 7 more hidden cubes, all 3 chains of the unglued grids, and then 3 more wandering echoes. Which, yeah, the wandering echoes themselves are going to be annoying. I may want to choose to not. Trick here is to run, and I mean that's gotta be the trick, is to run up there. It's either that or have just a much higher level of skill. I talked about at the beginning of this series the idea of using joy to key, but where does this fling me? Maybe that would get me high enough. Joy to Key is a program that's fairly well known that would convert a gamepad joystick, Xbox joystick in my case, down to being something that it would convert the inputs of a gamepad into a into the keyboard inputs, but honestly I don't think that would improve much here. That's not what I meant to do. So that's all the scattered logic puzzles. While it would make it easier on my fingers a little to use joy to key, it's not going to make the whole it's not going to make me better at moving here. I imagine what might be going on here is that there's not a lot of programming to make the floors snap to your feet, or your feet snap to the floors more accurately. There's no cheating on your behalf happening here. Okay, so that's one of the orbs. I think I might even want to do that off the screen, because I can see that just taking 20 minutes. Anyways. Let's see. Mewtwo the Imperial. What is the sound echoing in my thoughts? It is getting louder. In this realm I am called the Auroral. We have met before. I've never met anything living before, but I feel something is missing. I feel like a book where each page is written and then torn out. What am I? You're a being that forgets itself each time it wakes, but in the forgetfulness you have a chance to experience the wonders of the world anew. So I almost wonder if like these beings are experiments. Okay, there are 2 tiles remaining. Mark only what is definitely true. We must connect all dark dots. Well, okay. So this is actually fairly basic in that and that is definitely true. And then that will connect to this. And then connecting all dark dots again, so we can say for certain it goes there. We can say for certain it goes there. And we can say for certain it goes there. And that shoots up to that one. Then so we have to then take a break from that and do this one. This time we don't make any square patterns. So we know that's definitely not true. This isn't so much this isn't really a major evolution here. And then this time we just don't make any 3 patterns. What do we make extra? There's 2 more remaining tiles. Here and here. And that shoots up to an area too. Also hearing an invisible cube. And seeing an invisible cube. Puzzles leading to other puzzles, making it perhaps a little too easy. Don't make squares, don't make 4s. Two more things. One more thing. Don't make it 2 by 2. Don't make it 4 in a row. This is just going to shoot us up more. Don't make 2 by 2s of either color this time. Which all of that must be true. Now, arguably, this is possibly a example where these kinds of puzzles should have been earlier in the game. Maybe that is an indication that we are still very early in this whole experience, because when you're holding a player to that higher standard of don't guess and only solve what is absolutely true, you're giving the player an opportunity to learn the right things without learning the wrong things. Which, yeah. Otherwise, there has been, up until this point, a real chance in that you could have there's a high chance you could have learned the wrong things or learned extra things that are incorrect while randomly trying. But video game wise, I certainly could also see like I could certainly also see why you wouldn't want to start with these kinds of puzzles, because it might spoil things. So inherently, this one's interesting because it's connect all the dark cells. There's only one dark cell, so you're given a negative constraint type hint in that this has to all be white, this has to all be white, and that has to all be white. It definitely seems like we are actively unlocking more insights, although it kind of feels like some of these insights could have been things we have already unlocked. And there's clearly more puzzles in this enclave. Alright, I kind of thought maybe we were going to start seeing enclaves be more linear in the whole experience, where solving everything does mean that you would have done 100% of the area. Effectively, this is reinforcing things you should have already known by the time you reach this point. Okay, that. That is why I'm breezing through these. This is also the kind of game that would be very difficult to make a walkthrough or find a walkthrough for, in that you would need an interactive map effectively, I think. Something that would let you click a general area. Now, weirdly, you still are in this situation where the what was I gonna say? Let's see where this goes. This is just running all around. So, in fact, you've got to know where it's going. Probably going in corners. You see, that one was easy to accomplish just by not wandering around too much. Okay. I guess it is the case that in a video game, the goal is not to do perfect levels of education and training on how you actually would solve puzzles. The goal is to give a challenge. Something is here somewhere. So the hope here is that we've done all three of the puzzles and it is all just going to synergize in the middle. Okay, we can't make a 5 in a row pattern, so that's got to be white. Okay, then we can't make a 5 in a row pattern, so that's going to be dark and that's going to be dark. This is a lot of square footage that they're see where I'm getting up to that area. Let's see if that shot me up that way. Okay, we must connect to all the dark cells and we must connect all the light cells. So we could make some assumptions here. If we went all the way around here with dark cells, that wouldn't work. So that's going to be right and that's going to be right. That doesn't matter, we don't know. Now, then that means that's going to be right and that's going to be right. This could be right. This could be right. Or this could be it. Or this could be it. Why then does it say there are 4 more places? Okay, because there's more logic to this. We can't make any of these dark cells. So all of these have to be white. And all of that has to be dark, because then we would have isolated something one way or the other. Still wandering around looking for cubes and still hearing them. I'd really pity somebody who made it all the way to this just doing the basic puzzles and was not bothering to find any of the secret hidden cubes. There's so many of them. Okay. So I think the move here is probably run here. Not gonna make it. So instead we shoot ourselves up here. There is enough time to do that one. It's just a matter of hitting that 4th spacebar button. And it kind of doesn't even matter to have momentum here. You potentially wasn't expecting that, though. I thought more than likely that was the end of it, but of course not. would have been too easy. Could we? That more than likely is the last part of it, but who knows? Same is true for the other one I want to do off screen, and I guess that highlights the problem of doing something off screen. Don't make a checkerboard pattern. Okay, well then black, white, and then white. And then we can't make a checkered pattern, so that's white. Which means that's black. You probably in puzzle games shouldn't just accidentally walk. Yeah, you probably shouldn't just accidentally walk into a puzzle and then solve it. We must connect all the dark cells, so that much is true. Which means that much is true. And then we must connect all the light cells, which in this case doesn't mean anything. That much is true, and that much is true. We are missing one more. This could be... Well, nope. This much is true, too, because this couldn't be white, otherwise it would isolate it. Okay. And that, and that, and then that, and that. So, 67 puzzles have been solved. Here's another hidden cube, 68 now. And I think that leads us to that puzzle. And I think that puts us pretty close to probably doing them all. If I was to guess, darn it, man. You gotta be fast. And it's just in that last section, too. Like, you don't really gain any time here. This is funny. I guess maybe you don't actually have to hold down the shift button, because in this case, I just tapped the shift button. Got it. So on that success, we can, I think, wrap up. I suspect that there's actually 75 puzzles here. So this is an unclued grid. Now, visually, it's worth pointing out here that this is not different enough. Visually, there should be a different background or something that would tell me that what I'm, yeah, that would tell me something. Okay. Man, I guess the idea here is we might be able to solve this entire puzzle. Yeah, a different background to show me unclued grid, perhaps a more destroyed, less fancy background, or perhaps just a different color. There should probably be several different backgrounds anyways. Okay, that's gonna be there at that point. There's 27 more possibilities that seem to be claiming to be right. Can't do a 4 pattern of the whites or the blacks. So something's got to give here, doesn't it? Is this wrong? Why did I decide that needed to be black? Because of this. This can't connect to that because of the 3, which then means that has to happen. That's white, so that can't happen. I'm really confused here. Then. How does... Oh, you only have to connect all dark ones. Okay. So let's just reset then. So that has to be black, that has to be white, that has to be white, that has to be black. This can't. So this is as far as you have to go. Then you only have to connect all dark cells, so we don't know anything about that. And the area numbers have to match, which shouldn't know anything about that either. I guess inherently somewhere around here has to be white, but how could I represent that? And somewhere around here has to be white, but how could I represent that? Oh wow, I am just totally wrong. If this was white, we can't connect all dark cells. Which means that has to be white here. I guess we can keep playing to those aspects. And take all that information for us. For ourselves. This is weirdly going to fill in everything. Do we know for certain? Yeah. We are just filling in everything is just a level of certainty. Although these are less certain. This is a 3, this is a 3, so everything has been satisfied on this. It is now just this one rule about you can't have 4 whites in a row, but we don't have to connect all the whites in a row, so this could be white, white. This could be white and then black, and then this could be white and black. If it was that way, since we have to connect all the blacks, that would have to be that way. Yep. And then that inherently means I have to solve it that way. Okay. And I'm pretty sure nothing triggers the countdown of the remaining puzzles other than just doing all the bonuses. That is an indication that it's going to start getting more difficult. This is just a regular old puzzle. Let's see, we're gonna do something a little bit fancier than that. Probably not that much fancier though. Let's see. Pretty much got it already. Need B to not connect, however. And that's kind of a great example of where the puzzles don't inherently have to be that hard. So yeah, you'd think in a lot of games you'd click on this, you'd get some dialogue, and that would be the end of this puzzle. But I think very much it's the case that this will just give me text. We'll end the episode here, and then in the next episode we will do the cleanup, which probably won't be that much. It's probably just 75 puzzles in total. It is 1,000 deaths, even if they are happy under a pretty sky. 1,000 forgotten deaths besides an eternity of unforgettable solitude. This is interesting because the dialogue here does kind of imply that maybe you actually are dying every time you fall off the thing and you're just being brought back to life and not remembering it. Does that matter? Probably not. We are two faces of the same coin, two opposing sorrows. Who are you? So yeah, once again, the dialogue just doesn't feel like it really matters. Now, we did make a decent amount of progress here. enough. Not quite enough to get this, which would be the next thing to get. There's perhaps an argument to getting some bonus memory cube for doing memory challenges, but we haven't seen any memory challenges, and yeah. I'd have to have 1200 here, then 500 to do that. Where it would probably just make more sense to do sightseer. We've seen more sightseer puzzles, which might also mean that there's fewer left. As far as Lucent Waters goes, we're mostly staying away from the central area. So, Shadow Oasis, Trick of the Wanderer, and Shattered Library. If we can do all of those, I imagine we can't do the Trick of the Wanderer, then we'll probably just be done with the area, and then we'll just move to Autumn Falls, which I'm not expecting Autumn Falls to be particularly as big, or maybe it is smaller in this section because the enclaves themselves are larger. Yeah, that is, I suppose, a possibility. This is the enclave that we are doing, and looking at the map at that current zoom, it seems like it's fairly small, but it was very dense, to say the least. Mastery is just going up and up. There we have 400 sparks we could claim. We still have 5. So next would probably be to try and get 1200. So yeah, we still have 5 types of puzzles we haven't even seen. The encyclopedia is almost complete, although it may take a while. The grid rules is about halfway complete. The number of insights seem to be about halfway complete. Now, the question is, if I leave this menu, will the ones that are marked in red go away, or do I really have to click on all of them? The lore fragments are getting closer to being complete, and I would argue it feels like the lore is getting to a point where you could potentially read it in a linear fashion, as humans expect to be able to read lore. We haven't found any more echoes of time, and we haven't found any mysteries. So it definitely seems like there's a lot more game here. The question, though, is it game that I am going to manage to actually reach? Any point here, I might waste too much time trying to 100% things doing chase sequences instead of just actively trying to move on to the next puzzle. With that being said, I'm going to try and do that one chase orb off screen just to save time, but that'll be the only thing I do off screen, hopefully. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and keep on watching.